What is up? Welcome back to the Colecast. This is the week of November 3rd. Or is this coming out Wednesday?
This is coming out tomorrow.
This is the week of October 29th is the Wednesday.
That's today.
So that'd make the 27th.
It's the 28th.
Whatever, guys. Ask anybody that knew me in high school. Dates aren't my specialty. You've got me. I'm Francis. Greg's here with us. Today, we are going to talk about some bang bangs and some boom booms. Before we get into that, Evan, what do we got going on at the school?
We've got the wonderful Josh Prince coming out next week.
Boom.
I think. My calendar is also screwed up.
Potentially. Josh Prince will be here. We've got some content we're going to shoot with him. Do some
next week.
Do some online videos. We will be hosting him and potentially taking him other places. Taking a minor across state lines is illegal, but taking Josh Prince across state lines is legal. That's a terrible joke.
We might be taking the minor across state lines too, though.
Yeah, we'll probably take the minor across store lines. And that's the thing is like that was the joke I was going to make, but then I realized like that's actually a terrible joke and I shouldn't have made that. Evan, strike that from the record if you think about it. If not, people can just hate me.
It's in.
We got Josh Prince coming out. Look out for some content coming from us with Josh. And Warriors Way will be next weekend, which is Lima, Ohio. I hate saying it, Lima. It just feels wrong. It's not a bean, it's a city. So, anywho, we'll be going out to that. Greg will be out there Friday, Saturday. I think Charlie and a mystery guest will be out Saturday potentially, and I will be out Saturday potentially, depending on some other stuff I got going on.
Robin Paul will be out there with us.
Robin Paul, Steve King, I believe, is confirmed out there. So that'll be a fun time, and then we have about a 3-week break, and that takes us into the Andy Davis Hammer-In. So that is December 5th and 6th. Here at our shop at Cole Iron Works. Tickets are live. They are in the events section. I'm going to do it live on air right now. Go to coleironworks.com. Go to get involved. Under events, there is a Davis Hammer-In 2025. Boom. You can buy a ticket for 1 day or 2 days or both days. Wait. Oh, no. Sorry. That's day 1 or day 2. Or you can buy a ticket for both days.
We'll also have a countdown going on for the next month-ish. On Instagram stories. So if you need a quick link, go check there.
Share it. Repost it. Is that story re-shareable?
I don't know.
Well, make your own countdown.
Yeah.
Be part of the fun. Use your favorite picture from the Hammer-In. That'll be a fun time this year. I still have not gotten confirmation on all of our raffle items. So I haven't been able to make raffle prices yet, but that should be available next week. I should be able to tell you guys how much those are going to be. But I do know that 2 of the things we're giving away are going to be a product from Even Heat. If you know what Even Heat makes, that make the connection in your brain there. And then we are giving away a 25 kilowatt induction forge. So once again, I keep saying it, but this is our chance to give back to the community. And this is how we want to do it is we want to make sure that you guys are getting bang for your buck. We're going to keep the prices low, for the tickets. And then those people that have a little bit extra to, be a part of the raffle, we highly encourage you to do that and to donate to Warriors Way. They'll be out here. Wonderful, wonderful foundation. I know this sounds like just a money pull. But getting money to Warriors Way is the thing that I want to emphasize the most. They deserve it. They put it to good use. And I can tell you that this is not a charity where it's going to a board member for them to have their 3rd vacation house. Your money is not going to somebody's golf trip. It is going directly to help veterans who need even just an hour or 2 to find their place in this world in that moment. So come out. Get to know those guys. If you're close, volunteer time, come to the Andy Davis Hammer-In, the 5th and 6th.
You don't have to go to Warriors Way to join in on their auction on Sunday. If you follow them at Warriors Way on Facebook, They typically live stream that, and you can bid on auction items there.
This is Sunday the 9th for their auction, not
Yes.
for our raffle. So
Yep.
on November 9th, Warriors Way will be having an auction with donated knives. I've won a pew pew from them. We're not going to get demonetized for me saying I want a gun, right? I don't know.
I don't think so.
I think you were good at pew pew.
We'll check it. I'm going to say the word gun again one more time.
Yeah,
and
double
then we'll
down.
check it.
That's good.
I want a rifle from them. So, excuse me. Even if you're not into knives or hammers, or you're not a blacksmith, and you listen to our podcast for some of the manufacturing aspects of it, you can still get involved with them, and they've got a lot of cool stuff. I got a boot warmer last year, which honestly I use more than the rifle
Well,
because I use that every single night.
that was part of their raffle, not their auction. But
Yeah.
yes.
So you can win stuff from their auction, from their raffle if you go in person. But getting people involved with Warriors Ways is what I want more people to hear about than coming out to our hammer. And our hammer is a lot of fun for us. But being involved with Warriors Way is the right thing to do. So I expect every single one of you out there to show some love to them. Follow them on Facebook, follow them on Instagram, like their stuff, share their stuff when you see it. That's the best way to get news around the amount of veterans that reach out to us and ask about local
Veterans charities.
and stuff that they can get involved with. Shout out to Black Horse. They're another one that we've worked with a little bit in the past. They're all over the place. If you're part of a veterans organization that does forging or does some sort of manufacturing or metal work, or even just gets together and drinks coffee, let me know. Let me talk about it. I want people to get involved with their communities. That's the whole point of this pitch. So that is our 5-minute intro. I'm trying to make them quicker because I did get one complaint that I go too long on them and I'm not funny enough to carry an introduction. That's literally what he told me. He said, I like you guys. You guys are funny, but your intros aren't. So they need to be shorter. So we can all reflect on that. Let me know how you feel, guys, if I should just ramble for 20 minutes about what's going on in the community or if I'm not funny.
Yeah,
There's
that was-
only two decisions
That's
there.
pretty tough criticism from Charlie this morning.
I wasn't even here this morning. Said it behind my back. So we
Before we get too far along, Warriors Way was donated a POW sign recently that they've got up too. Just thought I'd throw that
Wonderful.
in there. Okay, never mind.
okay.
Continue.
So we took 2 power hammers to Quad State, and well, let's back it up. 2 years ago, we took a power hammer, a singular power hammer, and calling it a power hammer was not a stretch, but it was one step above a stretch. It was a functioning hitting jig. It was a
Yes.
repeating hitting jig. So we took it out there, and what we said to everyone when we went out was, this will go through iterations. This is not the ship product. Tell us what you want to see. One of the first things we heard was, wow, your throat is way too long. Just way too long of a throat. Kind of becomes hard to control, mismanageable. It's like, okay, we wanted a lot of throat for a lot of top tooling, but that's not what the people want. We slowed it down a little bit. We knew going into it, we were going to do a full anvil, not a hollow anvil like we were in the prototype. We just did that so it was easier to move around and kind of manipulate. But we made a ton of changes. We've probably had at least 4 different distinct valving systems that I can think of. We've gone through working with not a crankshaft,
Flywheel.
well, we have flywheel now, but what's the hub bearing
Yes.
from a Ford Escort?
That never made it onto.
No,
a
that
hammer.
never made it on it, but we went through it
Yep.
and it's sitting.
No, it's scrapped.
Oh, it's scrapped. Okay. For a long time, it was sitting 5 feet from me, but we've gone through a ton of iterations. So we finally said, we're really proud of these 2 first hammers that we're going to ship. So we took them out and we're going to paint them, replace the dies, all the fun stuff. Any hammer that you get from us will have probably 20 to 30 hours of time in on it to make sure that everything's working properly. So this was kind of part of that. Long story short, we took 2 hammers out to Quad State. We were able to use both of them. We found some more updating that we need to do to the valve, some updating that we need to do to the oiler. But for all intents and purposes, We took 2 functional hammers and they functioned.
Well,
Exactly.
and we came back with almost 2 functional hammers.
We came back with a hammer that took 10 minutes to fix.
Yes.
And we could have done it on site,
We
but guess
could've.
what? We had another hammer that we
Yeah.
just plugged in. So that was one of the things that we saw, that, you know, running in a high heat situation, and I mean, it was running a long time all day. Anybody that was at Quad State came up and was like, hey, you know, I was going to go to bed, but then I heard you guys forging and wanted to get out here and see what was going on. So first of all, thank you for everybody camping, because you guys were all, excuse me, so very cool about us forging until 1 o'clock in the morning, running hammers. The positive reinforcement that we got from everybody that was camping. Nobody came up and was like, would you shut up? Everybody came out and was like very, very excited about it. A couple of the guys that actually work at SOFA or volunteer at SOFA came out and spent time with us. I knew we were good because Charlie was there the entire night, and
Yeah.
Charlie would be the first one to say like, all right, we got to quiet it down or whatever. But Charlie Hollis, not Charlie Ellis. So once he kind of meandered away, it was like, okay, maybe we start quieting down. We don't have the board's approval anymore. But we had a great time. We've got them back in shop. They will ship very, very soon. I'm looking forward to it. And then we'll do our next round of 5 is the next order we're going to place. We've got 7 more to build for the pre-orders.
I believe we have 6 anvils
Yeah.
on hand.
Right. So these are going to start coming very, very quickly, and then hopefully full production, not a 1 to 2 year wait on your purchase. We're looking probably about a month and a half lead time on hammers once we get them into production. And a lot of that really is just finding the time to put them through 20 hours of forging before we ship them. But we've got Greg here who helped work on the hammer and has given some advice on both the actual makeup of the hammer, what we should be doing, and then also the process of building. So what I want to get into, Greg, is when you first came and we needed help on the hammer, which was before you ever worked here, you called me while I was in California and you said, is there any way you can park one of those in my garage so that I can work on it and then give you guys feedback and tell you what's working, what's not working? And then once it's done and finished and complete, you can take it away. I'm not asking for a freebie. My best friend from childhood helped start this company. Francis works there. Nathan works there. I love all these people. I have an insight to this. That was where you started out. You were like, I can help. And then you ended up working here. And we were like, hey, now that you're on the clock, we can actually have you do this. What state was the hammer in when you got here?
It was still hammer number 1 was built. And there was designs for, now we have 2 and 3.
Mm-hmm.
And it was still in the design phase.
Okay.
And it was more like, hey, build a hammer and then I'll take a look at it.
Okay. So you jumped in. You really haven't worked on the prototype at all, right?
Not the initial design, but as stuff was getting put together, Logan would come and say, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? So I was involved somewhat. But
Well, I mean, like physically on the prototype, you didn't go back and test valves and
no.
stuff
Nope.
like that. So your real experience starts with building 2 and 3, which we knew were going to go to customers
Yes.
after the different iterations that we made on the prototype. So what was the first hurdle that you were able to mega mind with Charlie and Logan on to come up to a solution?
The big thing was plumbing.
Okay.
Because originally the valve was going to be in a different location and that just wasn't going to work for the way we had it set up. And so the plumbing was the big thing.
Now, was that before or after we started all the small fires with plastic?
I was before that. It was my idea for the plastic.
Okay.
And it's nylon, not plastic, but yes.
So, yeah, we went with push to connect tubing, and turns out that air is very hot.
It's way hotter than I was anticipating.
Yeah. So, we moved the valve up.
Yep.
And next to the cylinder. That
Yep.
way it's a little bit shorter of a run, gives you a little bit more control, less air loss. What was your input on that? What was your idea did you help with the idea of moving the valve up or?
Yeah.
Okay. So where did that come from?
Mostly just practicality. Moving the valve up then made the one run way easier.
Okay.
Because originally you would have to do a really tight radius 90, and by bringing it up and then doing a little bit different plumbing, we were able to just go a straight line from the top cylinder to the valve.
And what's the benefit? Because a lot of guys who listen probably are really good at operating hammers, but it's just like Kurt says, I know how to run a hammer. I don't know how it works. I hope you guys can hear that. The hammer's actually running as we speak. I can feel it.
I left working on the hammer to come in here to record this.
It's shaking the ground. It's hit so good. But what is the benefit of going from a 90-degree turn to a straight line in a valve?
You're going to get less loss, but this was more for just feasibility.
Mm-hmm.
The way that when the valve was further down, it was just going to be too tight of a radius to even manage. You just can't move the tubing like that.
So that was an actual installation SOP move. It was like, hey, when we start building these, that's not going to be doable.
Yep.
Okay. But there were benefits from air loss, because I remember while we were going through it, even just having my hand over the muffler was like, oh, we're pushing air now. There was a huge difference.
That was when we went from the soft tubing to the hard tubing on the bottom cylinder.
Okay.
And we were having a lot of leaks before as well. And then we went to just a straight swivel right into the valve, and that took care of that.
Yeah, the straight swivel was a huge improvement over the push connects. Like,
yes,
huge. I don't know any of the standards, obviously, or technical data, or, it's not like I can say, well, like swivel tips will lose 7% of air and push to connects on average are 24%, but when you just think about it, you have a very simple mechanism that is push to connect and creates a seal, compared to I'm tightening this down to a lot higher pressure and creating a tighter seal. That solved a ton of problems too with the reactivity of the press, like how quickly it was reacting to the foot pedal.
Oh yeah, because you were getting a little bit of collapse, and then also when we were using nylon, you could run into kinking, and when you'd have kinking, then you're just not getting good flow at all. So and we switched to aluminum tubing. The next hammer is going to be just black pipe.
Yeah,
it's going to be hard plumbed in. And that's going to be huge because we're going to get rid of almost every 90 on it. So everything's just going to flow right from the compressor right to the ram cylinder, and that's it. So it's going to be sweet.
So what was the next iteration that you worked on then?
Just getting it going. That was the big, like, design-ish thing that I worked on. Everything else was just, how do we make it better?
So we worked on...
Well, we started with a ball valve, and then we changed it to a gate valve, which was something I recommended because the ball valve has nylon in there that can wear out from the repetitive thumping. And
right. Explain the difference between a ball valve and a gate valve.
So a ball valve is basically a ball bearing with a hole in it, and then it's got nylon sealing it, and you turn the valve to allow the amount of air, whereas a gate valve is exactly what it is. There's a gate, and as you open it, that gate slowly moves, which is a lot more precise as well from the ball valve. Because a ball valve, you can crack it, but a gate valve, you get a finer adjustment.
So a ball valve would be more equivalent to what people see on most of their water lines or their air lines at like a home shop, like a shutoff valve. And then a gate valve would be a lot more similar to like your blower for your coal forge.
Gate valve similar to a coal forge, but like at home, your spigot, your water spigot is a gate valve.
Yeah. I'm saying more like so on the back of our induction forges, those are ball valves.
Yes.
Yeah. So when you have your water shut off on machines and stuff, a lot of times not a spigot, but the handle turn.
Right.
Those are going to be ball valves.
Yep.
So the benefit of that is we're reducing even more nylon. So even if we're creating heat, it's not wearing stuff out. And yes, we do have an oiler, and that will help a little bit, but heat and plastics don't mix.
Nope.
So we want to eliminate as much plastic or rubber or, what have you as possible.
Well, and even the gate valve on the next hammer should go away.
So what will that turn into?
So right now we're making too much bottom air.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're using the gate valve as a dump. So it's dumping some bottom air because it's creating too much.
Right.
And so we're going to do some different things with the compressor cylinder and the valving so that there is no need for a dump.
Okay. So I guess my question there is because I was under the assumption that the gate valve was going to be permanent. So you guys get to hear this live and in person. What is the benefit of not using that dump? Doesn't that take away some of your tuning to the hammer to be able to crank it or loosen it, depending on, if you've got a project that you just want to planish on or whatever, and you don't want to do it for every project. It's not like you want to set up your hammer and say, okay, I need to dial in my settings like you would a convection oven or something like that. But doesn't that take away some of your own in-home tuning that you would want to do the hammer?
No, because when it's all said and done, our end user, we want all of their tuning to be in their foot.
Mm-hmm.
They shouldn't have to go adjust this, go adjust that.
Sure.
It should be all in the treadle. So we want it to just function. They step on the treadle a little, it goes down a little.
Mm-hmm.
They step on it a lot, it's a lot.
So we're not taking away tunability, we're taking away points of tuning.
Yes.
Okay. That's essentially what we've done with our presses. You've got your slide bronze that needs adjusted every once in a while.
Yep. And we used to have full bronze Gibbs.
Yeah, we used to have full bronze Gibbs. Our foot treadle linkage is much better on this is actually contentious. A lot of people like the old solid treadle linkage better, where it was up in the pedal was built into the base of the press. I think it's a lot better with the push-pull cable. That way I can move my pedal around. If I'm working something awkward, I can kick that out of the way real quick. If I need to work at a different angle on the press, I can bring it over to me.
And the best foot treadle for our presses? The DPC.
Well, they slide under the press. We need to make the foot pedal just a little bit taller. But we're not taking away necessarily the tunability of the machine. We're taking away the user's responsibility to have to tune it constantly.
Yes, they shouldn't have to.
Yeah. And I don't know. I've never really worked on other popular brands. Every power hammer I've ever run has been at least 100 years old outside of the Ryder. I've run a Stenko for like 2 hits. Or no, they don't have a Stenko. What's...
It's Sofa?
Yeah. Kuhn.
It's a Kuhn, which is
Kuhn.
the same as our Ryder.
Yeah, it's a Ryder. But
I believe theirs is I don't think it's a 50 kilogram, but it is larger than our Ryder.
Yeah, ours is 55, I think.
Ours is 55 pounds. It's like a 23 kilogram.
Theirs, I want to say, I can't remember. I'm not even going to attempt to remember. But anywho, I think that's probably a good path forward, is to take away the time down in a shop to where you're tuning and you're moving stuff around. And even if the hammer is functioning perfectly, a lot of guys, when they see something that can be adjusted, think that it should be. And so that takes away the temptation to constantly be inside your hammer and doing routine maintenance. I've got finger quotes up. We don't do video anymore. I've got finger quotes up, but doing routine maintenance, we hide our oil in our presses because you don't need to change your oil very often. 10,000 working hours is a long time. I think it's like 4 or 5 years of 40 hours a week. So, we kind of hide that. We take things out of the way. We hide the valve, because it's just safer that way. If something does go wrong and you're protected by an inch or an inch and a half of plate. But also takes away you looking at the valve constantly and seeing that there's a set screw in it that you can adjust. Do I need to do that? Do I need to check on this? And so I think that's probably the right move for the hammer too, is like you have your foot treadle. You can check on your linkage every once in a while to make sure it's tight, But if it's hitting, there's really nothing inside that should be checked on more than every couple months with heavy use and once a year with light use, you know?
The oiler, keeping it full of oil,
Sure.
and greasing the bearing assembly. That's going to be the routine maintenance of this hammer.
Yeah. So quick, easy. That's kind of when we first started it, we wanted off the shelf components and we were trying really hard to get, you know, an air cylinder that you could get from your local surplus center. We were trying to find a flywheel that you could order from an auto parts store or whatever, you know, we were trying to do it off the shelf. And that's kind of the same idea that we had was like, well, if it's off the shelf, some guy's going to fix it and then he's going to run it for 2 more years. Then he's going to sell it to another guy. And unfortunately, not everybody that fixes things fixes it with the idea I'm going to resell it. So I need to do it 100%. So we did kind of revert back to, if you need something on this hammer, we will have it available. It'll be off the shelf as far as we are concerned, but you might not be able to run to Midas. Well, I guess Midas doesn't sell things, but O'Reilly's or, you know, something like that. And just replace a valve or replace your flywheel or whatever. Like a lot of it will be, you have to get it from us. And that's so that we can ensure that it'll run correctly.
Well, and with talking to Logan, especially, like, we couldn't find any of those cylinders that were exactly what we wanted.
Yeah, they were either too much or too little.
Yeah. And so this way we're able to do exactly what we want.
We were spending $600 on cylinders and then putting work into them.
Yeah.
So I might as well just build it from the ground up anyway.
For $300.
For $300. And then, you know, even if we're taking shop rate into account, you know, maybe it ends up being $600, but that's better than $600 plus more work on top of that. You know, that's just the out of the gate price. So, and we can control our costs a lot better when we're making it in-house. If I have to go to a supplier to buy something, they set the price and the price is what the price is. If I can make it, then I can say, okay, well, if I tune this a little bit, or if I change this design a little bit, or if I take out that hole and just make this one over here deeper since I'm already drilling it, that gives us the ability to cut our costs, because the longer it's in the machine, the CNC, the more I have to charge for it because it's taking up productivity time, right? So if I can cut machine rates by cutting time and by using the appropriate mills, right, the end mills and the cutters and all that, then I can shave price off the customer. I can't do that if I'm buying from another vendor. I can't call them and say, hey, you need to drop the price $10. Just make your programs faster. That's not how that works.
And with the supply chain and COVID, when you couldn't even get parts.
Well, I have 4 or 5 different motors that we went through that we were using during COVID. And so now if you bought your press between 2020 and 2023, I have to email you and say, hey, send me a picture of your power pack so I know what motor you have, because we weren't smart enough on the front end to, when we shipped a press, take a note of they have a Tech Top or they have a Leeson or they have this, which we should have done. And I fully recognize that, but we didn't. So here's where we are. I have to ask people to send me pictures of it. So if I'm making it from the beginning, punch and stripper set. If you bought a punch and stripper set pre-November of last year, I know that you have the old style.
Yeah.
Because I made it. I wasn't ordering it. It didn't change. It's a lot easier for me because we go through more steps to release something that we updated.
Well, when you see a picture, or even if somebody goes, hey, here's my broken stripper, it's like, oh, that's a 12-ton stripper.
Yeah. Yeah. But what I'm saying is there's more work that goes into releasing a new thing that we've made than for me to say, oh, this other one works. Yeah. I'm not going to remember. I ordered Tech Top in July of 2021 and Leeson in November. I was just ordering what was available, and I had to do that a bunch of times. And by the way, if you're listening, Tech Top, still mad at you. Shipped the wrong motors. And then when we told them that, they were like, oh yeah, we don't have those motors in stock. So here's a bunch of face places. You guys will have to change them out yourself. So we paid more for them because there was short supply. And then I had to put about half an hour to an hour, depending on how finicky the bolts wanted to be, into building every single 2 horsepower that we made. So I'm still not a fan of Tech Top, but they're great motors. I haven't had any problems with them wearing out or service or anything like that. I just don't like small things and working inside of motors and moving wiring around and replacing faces. Also, their bolt patterns were different, I think, or their foot patterns. But anyway, I think moving to stuff that we make in house, things that we're able to control the narrative on.
Well, and I think the KA helped with that too.
Well, dude, the KA was so. When that came in, it was like we weren't scared, but we were whatever the business term for scared is, because they came in and it was like, okay, I think they sent us 2 working ones originally just to have in the shop and kind of figure out. And then we went up to pick 3 up and then learn how they're built. And the build process was essentially, well, you take this off the shelf and then you put this here. Well, how'd you get that? Well, we cut it about a year ago. Okay, cool. Well, then you take this off the shelf. Well, no, where do you get your cylinders from? Well, we make them. And it was like, oh man, how do we do this? And there was a lot of insight there, and it was a good trip. It's not like it was useless. And Dieter was awesome. But it was like, oh man, how do we do this? They didn't give us any vendor information. There are literally drawings on napkins. There's McMaster-Carr receipts from the 90s that I know they don't even carry this product anymore. How are we going to do this? And then we got back, and after sitting and talking and kind of work through some of the drawings, it was like, a cylinder is a cylinder.
Yeah.
If I can make that, then I can make one for the power hammer. And then that gives you a ton of confidence to go, well, air cylinder was kind of the last thing we wanted to tackle, but we did it. So we were looking at an 18-inch flywheel at one point, and we were just going to turn it ourselves. And then that was like, that'll take us forever. Can we do it? Yes. Should we do it? No. Because I would have to charge $4,000 for that flywheel. So your power hammer, without anything else, is automatically $4,000 more.
Yeah.
That's a non-starter. But it gave us the confidence to say, okay, maybe we can do our own valving. Maybe we can do this. Maybe we can do some of the work on the anvils that we weren't planning on doing. Yeah, that was huge. That was instrumental in our confidence. Even if we had to go learn more stuff, it told us we could do it.
Yeah, now we've got 2 running hammers. Yeah,
which, like I said, we'll ship probably within the next couple weeks. Hopefully, God willing. We've got a couple things that we have to. It's like if you've never been bit by a snake. This is a terrible analogy. If you've never been bit by a snake and you're walking through the woods, you're not going to necessarily think, is there a snake under that tree or under that rock or under that, what's blending in? But if you've been on a bunch of hikes and you've been bit by a bunch of snakes, you are going to check under every single piece of leaf that you try to sit on. You're going to check your camp area for all the things that you know about because you've had to deal with it before. That's kind of where we're at with these hammers. We're like, everything's running well. And we're just like, well, we had that problem with the valve overheating and locking up. So let's run it extra hard and make sure that doesn't, let's try to introduce problems to it to make sure it doesn't do it. So we're kind of at the phase now where we're inventing or creating potential problems in the field to A, make sure that it doesn't happen if possible. And B, you and I run service. If somebody calls and we're, I've never hit that problem. And we have to, that you lose a ton of credibility to that customer who just spent $15,000 on a power hammer. They're like, oh, these guys don't know what they're doing. So we want to create the problems here in the shop so that we have the forethought to be able to say, oh, you know what? That's super easy. All you're going to do, go in, you see that little bobber in there, pull that out, grease it up real good, drop it in, tighten everything back up. You'll be up and running in 20 minutes. Give me a call back.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where we're at with them. So I really hope that we run out of things that can go wrong and in our own mind so that we can start getting these guys released.
We're close to running out of stuff to break.
Yeah.
We've broken a lot, so.
Right, and some of that unintentionally and some of that intentionally. I don't want to make it sound like we are these master geniuses that could never make a mistake, and everything that we've designed has been to a threshold, and it's only broken after we've created that threshold or hit that threshold. But there has been a lot of stuff that we say, hey, I wonder what kind of load this can take, and we run it to its limit. It's a stress test. And now we're kind of running up against those where it's like, I don't think this should be an issue, but let's try it out. And sometimes it's been an issue, like with the RAM, welding all that stuff inside the RAM to add extra weight.
Yeah. Originally we tried bolting it.
Yeah.
And even with Loctite, they were shaking loose.
Right.
So then we tried not tack welding them, but basically tack welding them.
Yeah.
Then we were shearing the welds.
As much weld as you can get on without warpage.
before they were more just like inch welds.
Okay.
Now they are fully welded.
Okay.
There's nothing else that could be welded.
And with our new machine that is coming, hopefully within the next week, there's a very good chance that we'll be able to machine after welding, which is huge.
Yeah.
Which is huge. You know, just a little bit of extra travel will give us the ability to confidently say, not only can I weld this and make it square because I've had to do that for 10 years, but now I can weld it. And even if it's not square, I don't have to scrap it. I can machine it square.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a huge improvement.
I'm just excited for the lights out capabilities.
The lights out capability, the new machine, and we had Logan come on and talk about it, I think, a little bit. He might not have when he was on. If you guys are very sentimental about Cole Ironworks, jump on HGR in the next couple weeks, and you can buy one of our Fadals that we've been running for 5 years. For the money that we spent on them, they have made their money. They deserve retirement in a nice golden field. Awesome machines. I can't say enough about them, but they have hit a point where we need to upgrade. So we're moving into a VF4. Very, very excited about it. And the capability of one VF4 is going to be, I would probably say it's between 2 and 3 of the machines that we're running right now, just because of consistency issues, downtime issues, the speed of them actually being able to run shell cutters at the speed they're supposed to run out without the machine shaking itself apart.
And having a functional fourth axis.
Having a table that moves, right? We've got one that the table doesn't want to move sometimes. We've got one that the spindle randomly will just drop and break the drill and ruin a part. I've got vices that have got chunks out of them because of it. So just taking all of those, and I think if we round up the work that those 4 Fadals have been doing in a year, that VF4 will replace 3 of them pretty easily from, like I said, from downtime, maintenance, stuff like that.
Well, and we'll still be running the VF0 too.
And yes, and we're taking the VF0 out of R&D and moving it into production as well. So that'll help us a lot with the consistency of our parts. That'll help us a lot with the output speed. Right now I'm behind on dies. I've got a bunch of dies that need sent out. And that is specifically because I don't have mills to run them. Where I would normally say, oh, that mill's down, I'm going to fix it. The past month and a half, we've been working on getting a new mill. So a Fadal went down and we didn't fix it. And then a Fadal went down and we didn't fix it. And we're down to 1 mill.
Yeah, and have been for a month.
So getting that machine up and running and the consistency and having 2 machines on the floor running consistent parts is going to be huge. And that'll be our launching pad into Cole 2.0, where we're able to be more responsive and we're trying to be just as, hammer makers out there. Like Brent Bailey hasn't made the same hammer for 20 years that he's been doing it, right? He makes adaptations, and his hammers are classic and they're timeless, and he follows a process, and they are all wonderful. But he's also had customers that say, well, I kind of want a peen. Well, then he has to learn how to make a peen. Well, I kind of want this. Well, then he has to learn how to make that. And that's where we're at, is we have customers that are asking us for stuff that is totally feasible and we really want to do and we're excited about doing. We just didn't have the capabilities until now. So over the next couple of weeks, having those kinds of capabilities, I think, will be super cool.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I'm excited.
And then, we have the KAs picking up. I'm getting more and more interest. The thing is having 2 power hammers, they help sell each other.
Yeah.
When you have just a 16-ton press, people, I don't need a 16-ton press, and that's all they make. But when you have a 16 and a 25, then they come to you and say, hey guys, that 16 is still just a little bit big. Can you do a tabletop? Well, now we've created 2 product lines instead of just one. Going back to the confidence, we can make a tabletop. Guys, we make a tabletop 12. Why can't we do a 16 and a 25? We make that. Guys, if we're doing this is actually way more effective way to do a 50-ton. Well, that 50-ton turns into a 30-ton or a 60-ton pretty easily. And so that's kind of how all of our products have been released is going off the backs of the last one. So we introduced the K75 and people are like, ooh, that K75 looks super cool. I don't have an air compressor that big. The infrastructure that it would take to get there, it's almost worth it just to buy a power hammer. Do you guys make power hammer? Oh, they make a power hammer. And then on the opposite side, it's like, well, I already have a really nice industrial air compressor.
And that power hammer's too big for my shop space.
That power hammer's too big, or I really only need it for setting billets, or I only need it for drifting, or, you know, whatever. It's like, I wonder if they have a smaller option. Well, that K75 is perfect for that. So we're having the machines help sell each other. And it's cool because the customer's getting what they need.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think we're at a point where I don't think 75 pounds is too much for 95% of blacksmiths. So I think we're at a good starting weight. I don't think we'll go smaller than 75 pounds. But over the next 2 years, if somebody reaches out and says, hey, I want a 120 or I want a 150, I think going up in 75-pound increments probably feels right, just aesthetically.
Yeah, I think a 75 and a 150 is going to be the sweet spot.
150. And then, who's to say a 225?
For a fabricated body, we would have to go
cast.
Yeah.
We would have to get a cast, yeah. Which the reason that we have connections to get frames casted. The problem is that either they're too expensive. One of the contacts is in a foreign country. And so it's like,
with tariffs right now.
Well, and I don't want to claim American made if the entire frame is not made in America.
Yeah.
I want to keep it as American made as possible. But the couple American contacts that we have will either do 10 or they'll do 1,000, and there's no in between.
Yeah.
And
at 10, it's too costly.
It's exactly.
And 1,000.
But if we can, even at boutique prices, once you get into 225, 250, 275, like that bigger hammer range, people are willing to spend a little bit more money, and we can offer boutique prices for a boutique hammer. Yeah. That's an option. Having an off the shelf 75-pound power hammer with boutique pricing is not acceptable. 250 maybe. And we'll have to try the market. We'll have to see. It's all going to be based off what customers want. And, a lot of it is spending power. Where are customers spending their money and where are they not? And we'll have to look into that. But I'm really excited about the future of the power hammer. I'm very excited about the future of Cole. I'm very excited about the future of Evan and Greg and Logan and Charlie and all the dudes here that are challenging themselves to grow, to be part of this next season of Cole as we get into air hammers rather extensively, really quickly.
And now we have a mechanical. And I'm excited
that was going to be my transition and so now we have a 125-pound Bichet.
I'm not sure the weight of it.
Okay.
Me and Charlie were looking earlier. It's not on the casting anywhere or the machine tag.
I think it's either 110 or 125. I can't remember. But we have that. That's a self-contained. Sorry, not the Bichet.
The Bichet's a 50 kilo.
Yeah. And then the
Beaudry utility.
The Beaudry, we have a mechanical.
I've never run a mechanical.
Before I started working here, I only ran mechanicals. And I count tire hammers as mechanical because they're mechanical. Just because they're not a strap. But, maybe Cole comes out with a mechanical in 5 years. If that's what the market wants.
Well, especially like the tire hammer is a great entry point.
Oh, fantastic.
But maybe there is a 75-pound option that we could do with a mechanical.
Yeah. Well, I've talked people out recently out of presses. They tell me what they do, what they're working on, and where they're at in their shop. And they're like, I want a 60-ton. And it's like, cool, call me in 2 years. Go to Dave, fieryfurnaceforge.com, and buy a tire hammer. That's what you need first. That'll get you way more return than buying a 60-ton straight out of the gate.
Oh, yeah.
I would equate it closer to the 12-ton. I make the joke a lot of times where we have guys that retire and they've never done blacksmithing. They've never done anything mechanical in their lives. They've been at a desk for their entire career, and then they want a hobby. And that's awesome. That's great. That helps feed the families that I employ. But it's baby's first power tool, right? So it's kind of like that.
Well, and the KA is a good option for that too.
Yeah. Well, usually if it's your first, your K75, you need to have a compressor, whatever in place. But I I think that a tire hammer is very easy to learn on, the same way a 1210 is. But I think that it's a very easy machine to learn on, and it's not overpowered for a home shop, even if you're in a shed.
And his price point is amazing.
And you get to talk to Dave. Just a terrific human being. I talk about it a lot, but dude, the makers in this community and the vendors in this community and the people that you interact with, after doing this, it's like we'll interact with, say, our steel supplier is also awesome. So that's a bad example. I was going to say our steel supplier, but maybe we need to order gaskets from this guy or motors from these guys or whatever. And it's like, hey, here's an RFQ. Here's my technical data or whatever, and they will respond with $2,500. Shipping is $1,500. You can arrange your own shipping for a $12 fee. And it's like, there's no good morning. Thank you for the quote. Hey, my name's James. I'm going to be handling your account.
How are you today? But when you buy things from Dave, or when you buy things, hopefully people feel this way about us, or when you buy things from Broadbeck, or when you buy things from Holland, you get a personalized, hey, you're helping to provide for what I'm doing. This is awesome. I get to live the life that I want under my own terms and be employed the way that I want to be because you bought something. And I think that's where we should focus on spending our spending power. So, yes, I definitely want you guys to buy presses and power hammers from us. Please keep us in business. I think what we do is super cool. But if you find another maker that's making a power hammer or a tire hammer, specifically something we don't make, and you want to spend your money with them, it's like, awesome. Go with it, dude. I want everybody, I don't want everybody to be rich, because I think that being rich comes with its own set of downfalls that people often overlook. There is a lot of drama that comes with money management, but I want everybody to be able to provide for themselves and provide for their families. So, and if you want to buy some tools from Dave, come see us at the Andy Davis Hammer Inn.
Dave will be at the Hammer Inn. He'll have hopefully more tools than he had at Quad State, because that was...
Well, right now he's not selling tongs specifically for building up his inventory again.
Larson will be here. Another guy that if you buy a hammer from him and you have a question a year later, he'll be quick to answer. Guys like Mark Ling, Jonathan Pinkston, like all those younger guys that are coming up and doing it. You're supporting guys who can grow into the industry and do bigger stuff. I know Andrew Larson's been tooling up quite a bit. He got a 3B. He got a double-sided from us. He's been tooling up to be a little bit more on the production side while still having the handcrafted feel. There's always that argument of, when does it stop being handcrafted? You used a press. That's not handmade, whatever. But he's tooling up to be on the more production side of handcrafted. That's a weird turn, but go out and support those guys,
Yeah.
You can make a hammer. Awesome. Sweet. If you need to, make a hammer. But at some point, hopefully you get into the situation where you can afford to buy a hammer or a drift or a set of tongs or some punches or whatever, even from Corbin for $20. Larson's, I think, are 40 for a full set of, I think he has like a 6-piece set for like $40. I think it's the horse head.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And Dave has a similar set as well.
Yeah. But go and support those guys and help kind of spread the love, because I reckon everybody has a Kurt or a Charlie or, these guys that came out and bought a hammer and they're never going to use it, but they bought it because they wanted to support you. So have that same mindset. Do that to those guys. But anyway, getting back to hammers. We have a Beaudry and a Bichet sitting in the shop that we'll be able to compare our functionality to. We'll be able to look at some of the valving, some of the different techniques. We've been mostly working off the Nazel and drawings and schematics of other hammers online, but having it here in person is huge.
Oh yeah.
Huge. So.
And a Bichet it's larger than our hammer, but not like the 3B.
No, it's more equivalent.
Yeah.
And it's Andy's old Beaudry.
Yeah.
So that has a piece of sentimental value to it that Bill restored it and got it up and running fashion and that means the world to us to have another piece of Andy, because we've got the anvil, but the anvil is not very usable.
See, I like that anvil.
You like making stuff with dips in it.
Well, there's the one dip.
And the ring. You can't hear
Yeah,
after
that's-
using it.
That's true. That is a very loud anvil.
And it is at an awkward height.
For people that are 6'15".
Anywho, guys, we recorded this late. It is now 4:00. We're going to jump out of here. Thanks for spending your time with us. We'll see you at Warriors Way. We'll see you online, and we'll see you at the Andy Davis Hammer Inn. Thank you so much for your support over the years, guys. We really appreciate it. Bye.